Hello and welcome back to Kerbal System. Today we're going to design some new things, specifically an F-22. Okay, so first off, this isn't going to be the best replica of an F-22. I'm not trying to make it the best replica of an F-22. Basically, this is an excuse for me to use the Mark 22 Raptor cockpit here. So I'm going to make it with a, let's see, a short one and a long one, or... I'm not sure. Actually, first of all, I'm going to grab the bicoupler because I know I'm going to use that. And of course, I'm going to use the new Panther engines. And I'm going to use Delta Wings. I know that. So I'm going to take a look at the Delta Wing. And I'm also going to use... Let's see. I'm not going to use that. I'm not going to use that. What does the air brake on an F-22 look like? I'm not sure. I think it's like one down the back in the middle. I'm not sure about that though. I'm just going to put one on there just in case I decide to use it. But right now, I'm looking for more of... I know I'm going to use an Elevon probably. Let's just go ahead and... Well, let's not put it on yet, because I know I'm going to put another piece there. But we have Elevon 2 and Elevon 3. I might use Elevon 5. I probably won't, but actually, now that I'm looking at it, I might. I'm thinking I might more than I initially thought. I think we'll use a structural B for the back here. I think that gives us... the closest look to what I want. Yeah, and then actually using the 5s on the back here is probably actually closest to what I want, except the other way around like that. Yeah, because the angles just make that kind of match up like that. So let's see. I'm taking a look at pictures of F-25s as I'm doing this, of course. And see, that tail fin is a bit too small. In fact, this whole fuselage is too big, however. So I've already figured that much out. This needs to be like that. And I'm thinking about just making it like this. Like, just, let's look at it from like this angle. Now, obviously, the angle on the tail fin isn't quite right. But the movement of the tail fin would be accurate to an F-22. And I'm thinking I'd prefer just kind of this tail like it is. The wing actually seems a bit too big, actually. And I'm going to, of course, have two of these up here. And I believe the F-22's tail fins are all moving. I'm not sure. Are they all moving, or do they have a segment that flaps? No, they have a segment that flaps. So all moving tail fins would not cut it for the tail fin. Let's see. This is, of course, the wrong shape entirely. Although perhaps it can be maneuvered into the right place. That is the wrong... something like that, but maneuvered around a little. Maybe I can put one of these like that and then stick a... Let's see, what would be best on here? Maybe an Elevon 5 even. I'm not sure. Let's try just putting one of these on here. Kind of like that. Of course, obviously I'm doing kind of a rough look of it right this moment. I think... No, see, the angle's wrong. The angle's wrong. I couldn't do it like that. But maybe an Elevon 3 would cut it. Let's try an Elevon 3 on here like that, like so. See, now it's far too thin is the problem. So we have the structural wing D is what we used there. And we have these tiny little wing connectors. But see, even the tiniest little, even the tiniest wing connector is, I think, too big. Like, see, look at that. If I do that, it's going to be... It's going to be too long, too fat. That won't work right either. So I think what I'll do is, it's interesting how there's, as I'm looking up pictures of F-22s, there's some variations in aspects of the controls on these things. That's interesting. Oh, because this one's, one of these images I was looking at is a RC replica. And that would explain why the control surfaces are very different from the actual thing. Let's see. Alright, well, it might not be accurate, but I think I'm going to just go with basically what I've got here, but changed around a little bit. Let's take a look at what it says. Yeah, see, where those line up naturally is pretty much how I want it. So that is not what I meant to grab. I don't know why it decided to grab all of that when I went for the, these tail fins, but actually, let's leave them right where they placed by default for the moment. And then that looks like that placed pretty well, like straight on. That's interesting. Okay, so let's actually just move this, relatively speaking. Is that straight on? Is that straight on? Yeah, I think it is. I think it's a little more to one side than the other, though. Ah, damn perfectionism. Alright, let's take this and just kind of... Well, actually, let's take it and put it on. That's not what I grabbed. I didn't grab the whole thing. I hate that bug. It's so annoying sometimes. You go to grab something and it's like, oh, let me just grab the whole craft. Yeah, because that's what you want. Alright, so we're going to put one of these like this. And we're going to go ahead and move that all the way up. Then I'm going to take this and see if I can get it positioned on the back here in a way I like. That is weird. I don't like the way that was acting. Yes, so what are you doing? What are you doing? I think when it's actually perfectly sideways is what I'm looking for here. So I just gotta get this right on to the impossible perfect spot, which it can very briefly exist on. There. That's pretty close to what I want, actually. So as difficult as it was to get it to place like that. So yeah, this is going to be slightly wrong. I mean, look at that. It's definitely going to be slightly wrong, but I'm not terribly worried about that right now. And so I'm not going to let myself care too much, but we're going to definitely put these on in a more permanent spot. I'm just going to put them here for the moment, and then I'm going to put this basically lined up with that. Yeah, see, those are definitely going to go in a bit. So I think before I do anything else, I should go ahead and move those in the way I'm going to. Let's see, how far in do we want this? We want the tail to basically be half. Oh, it's actually pretty close to what we want already. That said, I do want to move them in a little. I'm thinking that is a good amount. And we might want to move them back a little. I'm not sure yet. I'm going to go ahead and put this in further. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab this and replace it on there the way I want, which is going to be, it's going to be basically where it was. So this is kind of a rough replica. It's not really supposed to be that great, but I figure putting these right about here. See, I can put like one here and then another. Oh, what the? Hold on. Nope, wrong button. What if I got a weird idea. What if I put one there and then have another one the other way there? Unfortunately, due to the way KSP works in flight, these will move at different like timings or whatever. So this won't look well when it's in flight. Like, I can make it look good now. In fact, it's not even Z fighting, which is weird. They're placed exactly the same. They should be Z fighting. But once in flight, they will maneuver separately, and that will cause clipping issues, which is annoying. So we can't do that. But perhaps, what can we do with these other two in here? Unfortunately, they're too big, really. So I think what I'm just going to settle for is putting these kind of mid-wing. See, the problem with mid-wing is then you don't have that same sharp look to it. And the problem with too far out is that that's not quite right either. I think I'll go ahead and put it out like that, and then I'll put another one that's in that's just ever so slightly touching. And then this one will have no control authority at all. And then also, depending on how these are lined up, looks like we're going to basically offset this in. Nope. Come on. I'm not sure what I did there. Let's offset this back a little. Actually, how far back can we take it without clipping into there? Only about that far. So this, however, can be moved in and forward. Mostly in. See, now the wings are going to get way too small. Then again, let's go ahead and take a look at how that looks with them way too small. Maybe it'll look better, even though it's a less accurate replica. See, I like the way that looks, even though it's not as accurate. Let's try moving this, yes, that, forward a bit and out a bit, and let's try moving these. Unfortunately, I don't think they're going to let me move them out a bit, because it's having that weird glitch where it decides that it's not able to be moved in a certain direction, even though it makes no sense. And in fact, it started out further away from that position. Come on, let's move this just back slightly. Or, not move it at all. That works as well, I guess. Come on. How far do I have to move it? About that far. That's weird. It's acting a little strange. Yeah, see, that's as far as I can go without it clipping into the engine. Oh, but you know what? I just realized I can move these a little. So let's take this. Yes, that's the one we want to move. Let's move this in just a little bit. And in fact, let's take this one and not select it, since it's just refusing to let me select it. Come on. That is so weird sometimes, how it's like, most of the time it's fine, but then every once in a while it'll just be like, you know what? No, I don't like you selecting me. I'm not going to let you select me. See, I can't do that. I I can't let that clip that way. I just don't like it. Okay, it has to be at least that far out. So let's go ahead and deploy it. Or let's deploy it that way. Looks nice. Okay, we're definitely gonna have that deploy the other way though, because we'll use that as flaps. Anyhow, let's go back to this, and we'll pull this wing slightly more out. I think that's good. And then accidentally grab that and throw it away. Grab this, and we're gonna pull it forward a bit, at least a little, right? Just enough to give us that black line down the center, and there we go. I think I'm just gonna fly it like this. I think this is nice. Other than this being so blatantly wrong, in fact, that I think I'm going to redo it, even though I decided that I was fine with it how it was. I've now decided not fine how it is, unfortunately. Yeah, it's very difficult to get tail fins right. Oh, come on, really? Okay, I've decided stock KSP makes tail fins impossible. God, that looks terrible. You know what? Fuck this. It's not a perfect replica anyhow. I'm just gonna forget about all of this attempts to use things that look closer to the reality, and I'm just going to use frickin' tail fins. Also, whoever's responsible for this bug, like, look, when I hold shift, parts should not change their orientation. Holding shift is a tool to allow me to move parts around in a more precise manner. You should not change the position. That's so dumb. I've hated that bug forever. I mean, I don't think that bug's been in there forever, but I've hated it as long as it's been there. Let's go ahead and deploy this to make sure it's not clipping into the main fuselage. It is not at all. It's not even coming close. In fact, it's so far from coming close that I'm going to bring it in a little closer to the fuselage. There we go. Of course, it's coming into the air brake, but the air brake doesn't matter. I'm not even sure if this is how an air brake is placed on an F-22, but it is on mine. That is just how it's going to be. That said, that air brake should probably go behind the center of mass, so I'm going to move it back a little bit, and hopefully that will work a little better. So I've just realized a massive flaw in this design, and that's that it should have a cargo bay in it. It really should. The question is, where the fuck do they put the cargo bays? Because I don't remember, and it's not in utility. There it is. It is in utility. So this is going to be F-22 whip shit replicas, and I've accidentally hit caps lock. And now I'm going to slightly rebuild it using a, a cargo bay right here, because that is the proper way to do this. Oops. Why the fuck did that just go in? No, don't go in. No! No! And it's bugs like that that are extremely, extremely annoying. Okay, let's try placing it on this bit before moving it. Maybe that will go a bit better. There you go, have it stick out very slightly more than the rear bit. And unfortunately this means the maneuverability is going in front of the center of mass, which is not a good thing, probably, but oh well. that's gonna go well. I'm sure it will. Actually, I slightly have a solution maybe, in terms of putting more fuel weight in the front here, because this is after all, unused space up here, since you know the bottom will of course be filled with weapons, obviously, but the top we can fill with fuel if I can, you know, get this fuel to behave a little bit better than it is, which it doesn't seem to want to behave. I'm just gonna have to manually position that stuff. For now though, real quick, I'm just gonna empty it, take a look at the weight and stuff, and take a look at what it does when it's empty. When it's empty, oh yeah, that shouldn't be there at all. When it's empty, it will go slightly in front of that, at least how it is right now. So it'll actually get more stable the longer it flies, which is a good thing. So I'm still gonna put fuel up here like this, but I don't think it's gonna be there necessarily to improve that stuff that I was just talking about. I don't want to clip things a lot, so let's move this until it's just about there, and then let's move it to where it's just about not sticking out the top, and of course that'll stick it, oh yeah, halfway through the middle of that. That's fine. I'm just gonna go ahead and actually, well, I'll finish repositioning those in a minute. First, I'm gonna put another one, just a single one, right in the center here, and I'm gonna have that be offset up as high as it'll go, which is not very high, unfortunately. So I guess I'm not gonna have it placed in the center like that. I'm gonna have it placed in the center like this, and then reposition it from there, since hopefully that'll hopefully work out a bit better. Let's take a look at it from here, and will it pull forward enough? Yes, it will. See, this is the thing that annoys me about part adjustments, about the whatchamacallit, the moving things around like how I'm doing right now. It annoys me that certain parts can move really far one way or really far another way, and it's really nice, and then suddenly another part, for no apparent reason, will suddenly not be able to move that far. And it's like, why? Why can one part move like a huge amount and another part can't? Or another thing is like, how come I can put this here, and if I remember correctly, I can move this like a huge amount vertically, like that. But if I move it up or down, well, I can move it up just the tiniest bit, but I can move it down like a huge amount, like that. Even just on the same axis, I can move it only a tiny bit up, but way down, and way over here, and way over there, and look, I can move it higher this way, then I can put it lower that way. It's just so inconsistent, and inconsistency annoys me. That's all there is to it. It's like, why is it that it doesn't make sense? It just doesn't make sense. That's all there is to it. Doesn't make sense. And this, oh yeah, I'm trying to place it like that. Can we put like another row of these things in here essentially? It looks like we can, so rather than placing it like that, I'm just gonna flat out place them like that. Oops, come on. There we go. And let's go ahead and open this up to take a look in there. That looks alright. That looks alright. I think I'd rather like this one placed like that, so it looks a bit more symmetrical. But otherwise, yeah, I'd say that looks alright, and it's ready for us to fill with bombs or missiles. Well, probably missiles, not really a bomber, but that also moves the center of mass a bit forward. And then, of course, when the fuel drains, the center of mass will stay about the same. It'll shift forward ever so slightly. So, assuming that this flies well, I'm hoping it'll fly well. Assuming it flies well, everything should be good. Let's go ahead and take a look at this real fast. I just want to make sure that it looks nice when it's going up. Yes, it does. Let's lower it back down, and we're going to need a copy of this. Well, 2 copies actually. We're going to need 2 copies. Let's take a look at the center of mass. We're going to want them kind of on the outer, yeah, kind of like there. I think that's a good spot for it. And of course, we're going to want 2 of them. So let's get rid of that. And we're of course going to have to adjust these now. Oh yes, let's put the braking torque on them pretty high. We're going to disable the steering. And we're going to, let's see, wheel height is definitely going to be higher. Wheel height is definitely going to be higher. The leg angle is going to be more in. Yeah, they're going to come out to about that angle. And of course the wheel angle, we have an auto align for that, which is very nice. And yeah, I think that looks good. Alright, now this one, we're going to want the wheel height. It's already as low as it can go. Okay, never mind. I thought it could go lower. Well, in that case, we're going to have to change the wheel height on the other ones, or rather the leg height, to make them go down more. Where is it? Wheel height? Oh no, it is wheel height. Okay, sorry. Yes. Oh, is that still not far enough down? It doesn't look like it. Let's move this down here and take a look at... It's pretty close, but not quite there. Let's use the offset tool. You can actually use the offset tool on the root part to get fine adjustment of the placement of your vehicle in the VAB. Quick tips from me. Yeah. Let's change the leg angle to -14 degrees. Come on. -15, -13, -15, -13. Okay, fine. Fine. Don't do the leg angle quite like I want. Yeah, see, that's still Still not quite there. Yeah, that's unfortunate. So we're gonna have to move the placement of those slightly, it looks like. Actually, just a simple offset tool, moving it down, would help probably enough. Yeah, see? Now everything should be good. I think everything should be good. Let's see, is there anything else crazy I need to do? I definitely need to I need to set up an action group for the toggling mode on the engines. And these, oh yes, these are going to be flaps, so I'm going to put them on 0. See, I'm trying to kind of standardize myself to have kind of similar action groups on things so that when I make things that, you know, different planes, I can fly each one and know how to fly it without having to be like, how does the action groups do on this one? So I'm going to say F-22 semi-replica, semi-replica because it's only partially, and I'm going to put the little notes, toggle afterburners. I really should say afterburners, and 0 toggle flaps. And otherwise, I think this thing's ready for a test fly. I'm probably going to change how far this opens in the future. Right now, actually no, I'm going to leave it like it is. Yeah, deploy limit of 100. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, it changes instantly when you do this. That's not cool, because I mean, I'm out here in the world. It probably shouldn't change instantly. I'm going to need a button on that as well. But for now, that's not what we're worried about. For now, let's see if it works. It doesn't. What? What? The fuck? How come? Apparently my staging is locked. Oh, my staging is locked. Holy, this thing like persist lock settings? You shouldn't have done that. That's not a thing that should happen. I had it locked earlier, but it shouldn't have stayed locked. 10. 20. 25.
50. 200. 300.
500? Do I hear 500? No? 1,000?
1,000.
Thank you. And wait for it. Wait for it. And pretty soon now.
2,000.
There we go. Yeah, so this thing, can it do super maneuverability? I would say that's a yes. Can it not stall out horribly? Oh, that's the wrong button. I hit 2. See, now I have 2 enabled. Go away. Okay. And I got up to 3,000 while still going while pointing down. That's funny. Well, I was going out a bit, so I was gaining altitude relative to the terrain while actually falling. Let's see if it dies doing this. No, it doesn't. In fact, it maintains control quite well. Let's pull up a bit more, pull up a bit more. This thing flies very well. Has a smaller part count. Is pretty similar to the F-22. I mean, I took some liberties with a couple of the parts, but I mostly tried to stay true to it. I mean, I stayed true to the general form. It has a little bay for dropping weapons out. Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. I thought I was gonna die there, but I didn't. That's nice. Yeah, I'd say I did a pretty good job, if I do say so myself. I mean, ultimately, others should be the judge of my actions, not me. But I'd say this is doing pretty well. Let's go ahead and activate the afterburners so we can really get going. I say as I'm going particularly slow because, you know, doing maneuverability stunts and whatnot, like doing a backflip, which is pretty cool. I mean, come on, if you can do a backflip in a plane, that's pretty cool, right? Let's do a barrel roll. Except it said no. It said no. I said let's do a barrel roll. It said no.
200.
200? Really? How about I do this?
400.
400? Master alarm's going off a little bit. Is it because I'm going slow? There's high G's now. Now there's not high G's.
300.
Yep. Everything's fine. Okay. Cool. What about if I do this? Yeah, I'd be upset if I did that too. Very nice. And I can make a stock version of this, kind of. I just have to change up the front a little bit, but not too much. This thing gets going faster than I think it does, which is why I almost ran into the VAB. Because I was like, oh yeah, we're not going to hit the VAB yet. And then I looked closer, I looked again, I'm like, oh, never mind, we're literally just about to hit the VAB. So I had to stop that pretty quick there. Let's go ahead and hit the wrong button, go into the cockpit. cut the throttle down real low, and we'll do an IVA landing. Let's go ahead and turn on the HUD, because we never actually bothered to boot it up. Very nice. Yes, this is the Mark 22 cockpit. I forget. I just realized I forgot to mention that pretty much entirely throughout this video. But it does altitude warnings, as you can see there. I don't know what that switch does still, but it does altitude warnings. Woo! And lets you fly things. Pretty cool. I like it. Woo. Pulled a bit more than I wanted to there. What speed are we going at? Only about 100. Let's go ahead and put that down. I forgot to put the air brake on it. I forgot to put the air brake back, so I'll make sure I fix that before I release it.
200.
Yep, 200. Okay.
100.
Did I put the landing gear out? Good, I did. Okay, let's flip the brakes as well. And this is not a good landing. This is don't land like this. This is bad for you kids. Don't let friends land like this. Man, I am not landing this well. I'm just kind of having fun, to be honest. Whoops! Shit!
5,
Oh.
20.
We're fine. I thought we would have been dead from that. Whoa. Planes should not be able to do that. Holy shit. Talk about the capabilities of thrust vectoring. Look at what we've just done. That was amazing. I mean, other than the part where we broke off the wing, that was amazing. I mean, the part that we broke off the wing was pretty amazing too, but not in a good way. Danger, don't put your head in there. I hadn't noticed that before. I don't like that. There we go. Okay, and the center of mass is there. So yeah, the air brake sticks off of the fuselage just a little bit more than I would like it to, but I think it's better that it stay behind the center of mass. Actually, I can bring it forward, so I will just bring it forward a little bit. Right about there. Not, you know what? I don't like that. I'm gonna bring it forward, even though that means it's now ahead of the center of mass. I'm gonna bring it as far forward as it can be while not attached to the cargo bay part. And then I think I'll actually shift it forward just a little bit. Oh, I actually have the lock mode on. Yeah, actually, that's where I want it. I think that's good. I think that is good. So yes, there is the F-22. Now it needs weapons. Okay, so the cannon is on the right about here. I've just noticed that my wing clips in the intake. Oh no! Ah! Must ignore. That would keep me up at night if I didn't force myself to ignore it, which is what I'm going to do now. Does that clear? Or more importantly, will BD Armory think that is cleared? Now obviously, unlike the real thing, we can't have a side bay and a main bay, but I will try to put the things in here that should be in here to be able to do things. Oh, I should put the weapon manager in the freaking gun bay. That'd be cool. But would it be as cool as having it here? I think not. Nah, I'm definitely gonna hide it away. Even though it has a thing on it that would be like a sensor that you would put pointing out somewhere, I'm gonna hide it in here. In fact, I'm gonna hide it. No, I'm gonna hide it. No, I don't like the way that clips into the door there, so I'm actually gonna flip it around this way and clip it into this. Yeah, see that? That looks alright. I'm gonna put it just like that. Of course, we're also gonna have a radar data receiver. But what I'm gonna do with that is I'm going to put it right here, but massively hidden. There you go. Yes, very much. Very much, very nice. Very much niceness. In fact, honestly, I think it should be hidden a little more in there. There you go. So it's just like a couple of antennas just sticking out there in a slightly off-kilter way. Oh yes, of course, we need flares and chaff. How could I forget? Yep, I think that looks good. course, we're going to need an AI flight computer if we're going to do any AI stuff with this. And we're going to need ammo for that main cannon. Very nice. Now the hard part is figuring out how to pack in the weapons without compromising the cargo bay. AMRAMs are too big to fit in here, so we will have to give up on that part. What the fuck? Unfortunately, it looks like Sidewinders are too big as well. Even the AGM-65s don't fit in here. It looks like the cargo bay will have to be relegated to Hellfires, which is not something you'd really want to see on an F-22, but it is the only thing that would actually fit in here, which is unfortunate, but we'll live with that. So I'm doing that weird trick again where I have the pylon small hardpoint, and do I want, yes, disable the staging, thank you, and enable crossfeed. Yes, I'm going to have hardpoints with adjustable missile rails on them, and if you look up a diagram on how the F-16, F-22 can be rigged for combat, you'll see why. I'm going to go ahead and make this version a, whatchamacallit, a ground attack variant, essentially, since that is, it's already got Hellfires in the cargo bay. I figured it should be a ground attack version. And then I'll make a missile attack version, which will have an ECM jammer in here instead of these. I figure that is an appropriate trade-off. Okay, why do these stages show as not part of the vessel even though they're clearly on the vessel? There we go, now they're there. That's weird. Did I just grab the rail and everything? No, that's not what I wanted. Now, considering the Sidewinders fire immediately and AMRAMs drop for a moment, these tanks should actually be dropped first. So even though I set them up initially the other way, these ones I'm going to have there, because those ones you always want to drop before entering combat, at least if you're going to fire the AMRAMs, whereas the Sidewinders could probably be fired while the drop tank is still on there. So yes, this is based on a diagram I found that was talking about the internal bays and also the fact that you could mount pylons to the wings to carry more armaments with an F-22, and so this has armaments on the wings because, well, that's actually the only place you can put them on here, and this will be my BD Armory version of my F-22 semi-replica, and assuming this cannon works in the position it is. If it doesn't, then I'll have to move it into a better position, and this is annoying me that that's clipped in there like that, and I'm wondering now if there's something I can do to change the way this looks. Like bolt a plate in front of it. Because that at least would look like it's like something there. No. I'm just going to leave it like it is and just kind of try to ignore that one blemish on an otherwise, I think, quite nice looking plane here. One thing I forgot is an action group on the weapons bay here, and also that this was supposed to be an air-to-ground version of it. And also this doesn't have a radar on it, which I will fix in a minute, I'm sure. Just let me first set action group, let's say 6 to open this. And one serious flaw that must be looked at is the fact that this doesn't have a targeting, this doesn't have a radar. So the way I'm going to solve the fact that it doesn't have a radar is slightly cheaty, but I'm basically just going to clip one into it. Alright, so other than... Alright, so other than the fact that I've had to change the cargo bay to only open up this far, in fact, actually I'm going to change it to open up less, because the thing is, the things that are going to drop out of it are only going to drop out of it, and it doesn't need to be open that much. In fact, yeah, I think, yeah, 60 will do. And I'm going to have the targeting pod be right there, which isn't really, well, it doesn't have a targeting pod, so that's not really a thing, but this is just, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, this is going to be a BD, I don't know, you know what, you can change the armaments if you don't like it, and I will probably make a fighter version, well, not a fighter version, but when I do another thing I'm working on, which is like a combat thing between various things, taking a look at them in different roles, I will definitely make this version without the targeting pod on it, and without the drop tanks, well, without the drop tanks, and have some tests, and... I can't brain think function today, so let's go ahead and launch this version and try it out. Oh, I've accidentally saved it with the cargo bays open because I'm smart like that. Also, this cargo bays drag on the ground on the... this is... Who let me design this? Alright. We're up in the air. Let's go ahead and disable that. Let's go ahead and let's try firing a couple of things. In fact, let's open that back up to verify that it opens up nicely. Okay, and we're going to try firing our AIM 120s to see how they handle this. If, well, it won't let me fire any. Okay, well, let's drop those. Bye-bye. I didn't actually check to see that we were draining fuel from those, which we should be, but yes, and now we're draining fuel from these, so that's good. Still not going to let me fire them? Okay, what if I close this? Will you let me fire them now? It won't let me fire them. I think it thinks that they're unsafe to fire because of the way they're placed, which I don't get. Maybe because they would fling so far. In fact, let's fling this one. Yeah, I'm going to need to change the settings on those. Will it fire the rest? No. What if I drop these? Now will it fire? No. Aim 9s? You're actually... You know what? I've just realized I forgot to arm the trigger this whole time, so that's entirely my own fault that those weren't firing. Let's try going back to the AIM 120s. Oh yeah, it has no problem firing that one. It has a problem firing this one because of the targeting pod, which I figured would be a problem. Let's go ahead and see if the Vulcan will fire, or if it thinks it's going to shoot itself. The Vulcan fires just fine. Oh, come on. Okay, good, good. Now, will the AGMs fire fine? Let's open up the bay, and... Unfortunately, they're not allowed any time to drop out. Oh, fuck, I should not have done that. And now I've killed myself with them. So, looking at more info of this while getting ready to fly again, I noticed that there's a thing called an AMRAAM compressed missile, which I guess was designed for the F-22 to be able to fit more stuff in there. And it can also drop JDAMs, which is interesting. I was not expecting that. Anyhow, let's go ahead and test fire. First of all, these AGMs should refuse to fire. Yes, they can't clear the vehicle. AIM 120s should fire. No. Okay, so they've decided that the fuel tank is dangerous. The whatchamacallit, the Sidewinders will not hesitate to fire while the fuel tanks are still here. Alright, let's drop those. And let's actually turn off the afterburner now and turn down the throttle a little bit so we can see a little better. It's actually, this is a good time to test the air brake. See how much that slows us down. Not actually all that much. It's a reasonable amount. Anyhow, now, fire one. Fires. 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 Very nice. Now the Vulcan, of course, still fires just fine. And the AGM 114 is the Hellfires inside. These, let's see. Very nice. Oh, yes. Smooth deployment. I love that very much. And drop those. And now we can turn like this. And actually, I want to go ahead and re-enable the decoupling on these because the pylons can be fired for better stealth while you're out somewhere, which would be useful. At least that's my theory. Because really, they increase the radar signature of the F-22. That's why the F-22 doesn't have them built in. Of course, I don't know. Do all plane... Actually, come to think of it, do any of those military aircraft have the pylons built in? Because I've seen military aircraft with them and without them, and they look like they're detachable, so I don't know anything. Shh. Shh. Don't listen to me. I don't know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Hi, G. Whatever. But yeah, that's all for this time. Thanks for watching, and as always, I'll see you in space. I'm going to make a ground version of this, which is essentially the one I'm flying right now, and another, like, normal version, essentially. So I decided to, like the GI-16, call these the GI-22s. I've made the official version have the drop tanks, no targeting pod, and Mark 82 snake eye bombs in the weapons bay because the other ones would not fit. The one you're looking at now is one that I'm not going to release, but it's pretty simple to make. Just take off the drop tanks and take out the stuff in the cargo bay. This is for combat testing, fighting things against each other. And as you can see, I'm having that stupid glitch with the freaking landing gear being wrong again in the front, and that is so annoying. Oh my god, that is so annoying. I have to fix that all the fucking time, and I don't know why it keeps happening. But yeah, this one has nothing in the bay. This one's for short-range air-to-air combat, and I'm going to do the outro with short-range air-to-air combat between two of these.